Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert, that's me. This video is composed of things that I tinkered with throughout the day. For step-by-step detailed instructions of those tasks, you can click on the links in the comment section below. This video should contain tips and tricks of things that I've learned throughout the year. Now, I only plan on leaving this video posted for about 30 days. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much for watching. As you guys know, I kicked off the day pretty much at the junkyard. Then I went to the shop to finish rebuilding the cylinder head. I thought I had cleaned all the valves, but I only cleaned 12, 8 more to clean. They're all exhaust valves, so they have carbon on them. So what I do is put them on the wire wheel, knock all that carbon off of them so that when I install them and lap them, I have a fresh, clean cylinder head rebuilt with no carbon on the stems of the valves. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Here are the valves. Let me take that back. I got 9 clean. I got 2 more intakes to clean. I got 1 exhaust clean and then 9 exhausts to clean. So I'm concerned with the carbon on the stem, and then I'm going to lap the valve so that it's clean. I'm not concerned with the carbon inside the cylinder. That's just going to start building right back as soon as the engine starts. But I want all the carbon off of this stem so it's nice and clean and smooth so that the valve stem seals don't leak. That's part of rebuilding it. I'm not concerned with all this carbon on the bottom. That's inside. But I don't want anything inside that flat part. That's where the valve seats in the head. So I'm getting all the carbon off of that as well. And then I'm going to lap it so that it fits and has a nice clean seat. Harbor Freight. Somebody said it's like the Toys R Us for guys and tools. It's having some kind of clearance sale. So I went and got a grinder from them because when I went to the shop, the guy at the shop thought he was going to be open. He decided to stay home today. Today is Saturday. He is closed. So I needed to get this done. Because unfortunately, we've had another death in the family. And I'm probably headed towards New Jersey tomorrow. So I'm going to put this wire wheel on here. Maybe put the guard on there. Fire this up. And start cleaning the rest of these valves that I didn't clean. So I have the grinder all ready to go. I'm going to set the camera down, and all these valves are in order. You don't have to have them in order if you have hydraulic lifters, but if you have them in order, they'll seat better. All these valves were seated in that head, probably real good because none of them burnt. So you want to keep them in that order so it's easy to get them seated when you have them lapped. So let me go ahead, set this up over here, turn this grinder on, and show you how I clean this carbon off of these valves here. You want to have eye protection on. You can also wear gloves. You want to make sure, God dang it. This thing is not strong enough to turn with the wire wheel on it. This is horrible. I just took one back because it wasn't strong enough to turn with the wire wheel. This is horrible. Wow. Let me see if I can get this thing working. I couldn't get the wire wheel to work unless I put another spacer on the inside to push the wire wheel out. Now the wire wheel is working. It's got some oil or something on there. It's slinging on here. So now I turn my grinder on and it works. So once it spins up the speed, I'm going to go ahead and brush the carbon off. See, it's a long process, but I don't know if there's any other way to do it. And we'll get it off. Huh? Okay. Just take your time until you get all the carbon off of it from the edge all the way up the shaft. After you get it all off, start on the next one. And if you don't have nothing else to do with your time, you can go ahead and get that carbon off of the bottom too. It won't hurt to get it off, but I don't think it'll hurt for it to be on there. Now on the turbo car, because the turbo, the exhaust runs hotter, these valves are sodium filled. So you cannot mix non-turbo exhaust valve with the turbo car exhaust valve. So there it is. The entire valve clean. Now this valve is ready to be lapped in the head. So I'm going to clean the other 11 valves and then come back and show you how I lap them. Alright, I got 3 cleaned. It takes about 7 minutes with this grinder that I purchased. It cost me less than, I think, about 45 bucks and the wheel. So for 45 bucks I got the grinder and the wire wheel. And with this little grinder, this 5-inch grinder, it took 7 minutes to get the valve clean, another minute to get the flat surface clean. So I cleaned 3. I'm going to let it sit, maybe cool off for 5 minutes. Then I'm going to clean 3 more. It also gives your hand a chance to rest because your hand gets kind of cramped up holding the end of this valve round. So let me go ahead and take a quick break and clean 3 more. Picked up this little 5-inch bench grinder from Harbor Freight. I put my wire wheel on it and it wouldn't start. I had to put both of the grinder discs on there to space it out. This thing has no starting torque. So you really don't need nothing rubbing to get it started. I done run the thing up to 132 degrees. So I'm going to give it a 5-minute break, see if I get it back down to about 110. Alright, I've been at it for about an hour. maybe a little bit more than an hour, so probably an hour and a half you can have them all cleaned off. I cleaned off all the flat surfaces of them too. Next, I'm going to go ahead inside and give me a bite to eat, and then I'm going to lap them in the head, and then I'm going to install them. Am I telling you that you have to buy a grinder to rebuild your cylinder head? No. I normally take my valves down to somebody's shop and grind all the carbon off of them there. But if you want to have the convenience of doing it at your leisure and at home, yeah, get yourself one. You could try it with a drill. I don't think that's a good idea. Probably burn up your drill. But anyway, I finally got a grinder wheel. But I've done plenty of heads without them. Valves are clean. I'm going to pull the valve stem seals and then lap all the valves. So I'm going to lift the cam cover off, make sure all the valve stem seals are out. Use the long needle nose pliers to get them out. Needle nose pliers like this, these are easier to get the valve stem seals out with, but straight ones will work. You see, mine somehow got broke, but I'm going to try to use these anyway. Reach down in the hole, grab the valve stem seal, and wiggle it out. They have little springs on the seals. Make sure you get those out of the head as well. They actually have some pliers made specifically for this. As you can see, this is coming out nice and slow. If the pliers wasn't broke, probably already be out. And they do come out mangled, usually. Let me work that with two hands. I got it out. It is crushed. The spring is with it. So now I'm going to work on getting the other 19 out. Out with all the springs, it took about 18 minutes. All the valves back in the head. It's kind of easy. The small holes are exhaust valves. The larger holes are intake valves. They're in order. I'm going to drop them all down there. Then I'm going to set the head up on its side and lap all of them. Now, if you want, you could wipe all this stuff out first, which is probably a good thing to do. So I'm going to get a rag, wipe all those holes out. But you can see that the surface is not perfect, and the surface of the valves may have a little pitting or something on there. If they're pitted too bad, replace them. But if they just have mild marks on them, imperfections, you can go ahead and lap them. That'll clean them up. I just tried to clean the seats off so that it would be easy to lap them. Normally do all of my cleaning with acetone, but you could go get carb cleaner, spray in there. The head has to be flat, which this one is true. We checked it, so it didn't need to be planed, and it's all cleaned off. And like I said, I'm just getting ready to lap these valves. I'm not worried about all that junk down in there. You can try to get a brush down in there if you want, spray stuff down in there, whatever you want to do. I don't think it's really necessary. Your valves are clean. You're going to put new valve stem seals in. The seats are almost never damaged, and the valve stem guides are almost never damaged. But you do need to lap your valves. So let me put them in there and start lapping. Valves in the head in the positions they came out of, because they'll lap better where they've been used. I left one out because I need to find a vacuum line or some kind of hose that will fit tight on that. And I also need to find a drill bit about the same size so I could use my drill to lap these valves in. I prefer to use silicone hose, but I got this tube. It fits real tight, on the, tight enough on the drill bit, put a little tape on it. Fits real tight on the valves. So I'm going to stick this on the end of the valve like I have in my other videos. Put some lapping compound on the other side and turn the drill nice and slow while I lap it. I'll film it here in a second. I lapped all the exhaust valves. They normally take longer because of the pitting on them. I was lapping the first intake valve and I couldn't get it to lap right. It was only lapping about 50%. You can see the shiny area, and then it gets dull gray. The dull gray is lapped. Then it goes back to shiny. Well, I couldn't figure out why it would only lap half the valve in the head. So my buddy Dan told me to put it in my drill to check it to make sure it wasn't bent. In the drill, fired the drill up, and I don't know if you can see it, it's wobbling. That valve is bent. So, I know this head was pulled from a running car because I wouldn't have kept it. I pulled the next 7 valves. All 7 of them are bent. They wobble. So I checked all the exhaust valves. They're straight as an arrow. This must be the head that I got from that guy's car when it jumped time and his number 5 cylinder was misfired. So when it jumped time, the compression was okay on all the other cylinders except number 5. Well, even though the compression was okay, those valves are still bent a little bit. So that car would probably never have had the power and the smoothness as it should, because those valves wouldn't have been seating, and they would take a risk of burning the valve. So this cylinder head that I'm rebuilding for James, unfortunately, needs all of the intake valves replaced, because that car jumped time and it bent all the intake valves. None of the exhaust valves are bent. All the intake valves are bent. So I got another head. I'm going to start again tomorrow. I'm saddened that these valves are bent, but if you ever go to rebuild a head, you can put a valve in the drill and spin it to see if it wobbles. If it wobbles, it's bent. I don't know good angle so you can see the wobble in this valve. I think that's it. Slight wobble. See that wobble? That's a bent valve. It'll never lap. It'll never seal right. All 8 of those valves are bent. Now on the exhaust side, they're all straight. So I'm going to save this head till later. I'm glad I didn't install any new valve stem seals on it. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.